Playing through the campaign of Horizon Zero Dawn has been a blast. Not just because it's an awesome open world with pretty much complete freedom to adventure around in, nor just because of the attention to detail or high level of polish that has been applied to all things within it. No, Horizon Zero Dawn has been a blast simply because the IP is so far removed from anything I have played before, and yet so satisfyingly similar in a familiar yet distinct way. The best way I can describe my 40 or so hours in Horizon Zero Dawn is a cross between Far Cry 3, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, and The Witcher 3. There are so many elements from each game that can easily be picked out in Horizon Zero Dawn, yet they've been blended so well into Guerrilla's new IP that none of it feels old or reused. Take for example the process of climbing up a tall neck to take control of it and reveal more of the map and exactly what is around you. Hardly dissimilar to climbing a radio tower in Far Cry 3 for exactly the same purpose, yet in Horizon Zero Dawn it feels like a new activity that was purpose-built for the game, rather than something that's been recycled from another. I have to admit, it is with some trepidation that I even started playing Horizon Zero Dawn at all, an open-world RPG from Guerrilla Games, a gaming studio whose only previous contribution to the gaming world was the first-person shooter Killzone. Whilst critically acclaimed as a decent series of first-person shooters, it hardly filled me with the confidence they'd be able to execute on an open world such as Horizon Zero Dawn. Open worlds done well are a joy to play in, done badly, and they can have quite the opposite effect. I am happy to say that Guerrilla Games have done an outstanding job with the world of Horizon Zero Dawn, both technically in terms of the graphical fidelity and polish, but also in terms of attention to detail. Details like a working day-night cycle, active weather, and multiple zones with differing visual aesthetics are all in Horizon Zero Dawn, yet these seem like pretty much par for the course with open worlds these days. I'm talking about the little details, like the fact that I was out hunting. I shot a rabbit with my bow that happened to be quite near a river. The in-game physics not only rolled the rabbit down the hill and into the water, but then the current of the water had the rabbit drift slowly off down the river. There is a current in a random small river somewhere in the map. Now that is attention to detail.
Then what is it?
The end. Or how it begins, anyway.
From my first moment in Horizon Zero Dawn till my last, I was constantly impressed by the quality of the graphics. Without doubt, this has got to be the best looking console game I have ever seen. I reviewed it on the PS4, and if I'm honest, purely visually, it rivals similar PC game titles. It ran at a full 1080p with a solid frame rate. I didn't notice anything in the way of screen pop or tearing. It'd be interesting to see how this stacked up against the Xbox One, but as far as the PS4 goes, this game looks simply outstanding.
Your whole life was a failure, and soon no one will even remember you. Turn your face to the sun and think about that!
In Horizon Zero Dawn, you play the part of Aloy, a plucky and very likable young woman living as an outcast in a post-apocalyptic world. Following a major global catastrophe, what's left of mankind is living in small outcamps and villages, in a far simpler tribal way of life than before. Technology has all but fallen by the wayside for humanity, which is nicely juxtaposed to the extreme technology of the robot creatures with whom mankind shares the Earth. And this is where Horizon Zero Dawn really comes into its own. The world is inhabited by robotic animals with over 25 unique and wildly different species. What is a masterstroke in terms of game design is each of these species performs a different and clearly definable function, which makes the robots feel much more like an actual ecosystem of creatures. This only further serves to enhance the immersion I felt in the world, as I started to really understand the purpose of each of these wonderful new robots. Without giving any plot spoilers away, the story itself isn't groundbreaking or revolutionary, but it is a good tale, with some interesting moral shade. It's very much driven by the classic story of human greed and growth beyond our boundaries, and Aloy's journey to put right the mistakes of the past. The voice acting to support the storytelling is very good. In particular, I found the character of Silence, acted by veteran campaigner Lance Reddick, who Aloy meets midway through her adventure, to be very interesting. I won't expand more, you'll have to see for yourself, but the contrast between dark and light in this character struck an intriguing chord with me throughout the story.
Meridian was red flags.
It is in the gameplay, however, where I found Horizon Zero Dawn shone out the most. I was given several great and easy to use systems for hunting and trapping my robot foes, which are balanced so well that any player could approach any situation completely differently. A bow is your standard weapon, but as it is upgradable, proves to be a really compelling utility weapon that you customize to your own play preference. Beyond that, you have rope traps, tripwires, bombs, and decoys, all cleverly interwoven into a game mechanic that allows you to jump between them on the fly, and as you see fit. The robots themselves, whilst fairly linear in their scaling, do present wildly different challenges depending on which species you're hunting. This lends for some truly great gameplay moments, as you are free to experiment with the various toys in your toolkit to see what combination not only works best against a particular foe, but also suits best your individual playstyle. The human protagonists I found, however, to be far less impressive than their robot counterparts. There is a stealth game of sorts here in Horizon Zero Dawn, but this is the only area where I would say hasn't been fully fleshed out. Simple things like being able to hide dead bodies, which are standard features in stealth-based RPGs, were severely lacking in Horizon Zero Dawn. This made clearing human enemy camps a little paint by numbers, as I found there was no opportunity to be truly stealthy. Also, there is a game-breakingly overpowered whistle function that I had to decide to stop using, as it just made the game way too simple. My only other issue is squarely aimed at the inventory system, which I felt was either woefully ill thought out or simply unfinished. I spent a lot of my time scanning inventory and managing the loot I had collected in a way that felt so clunky when compared to the rest of this really well-polished game. But this really is a minor quibble with an otherwise outstanding video game. I have thoroughly enjoyed every minute of my time in Horizon Zero Dawn. I wasn't sure what to expect as I got into it. What I discovered, however, is a very technically accomplished, highly polished, open-world RPG, blending together effortlessly many of the game mechanics that I love from some of my favourite games of the genre, as well as adding some interesting new ones. I would very much recommend Horizon Zero Dawn to anyone into the open world experience. If you liked the review, please feel free to hit like or subscribe, and to see Horizon Zero Dawn in action, check out my Twitch channel @Bleurghs World.